Hello, everybody. It's been a while. I know you guys, it's been since I think September, but welcome to the Tasha Now Frazier show. Hey, what is that? Oh my gosh. All right, I have all kinds of things that have happened in the last 4 months since I have been on my public pause, but I'm super excited to be back in front of you guys. Wow, I don't know what to say, but I'm really excited. We have a great show. We have great guests, but just to kind of fill you guys in, I mean, as you guys know, back in September, I took a public pause. I think it's very important that we manage our mental health correctly, that we don't get so caught up in what the world wants of us that we forget about what we need inside of us. And so since going through my own personal healing journey, I have learned to say no and to, take the time I need to take when I'm going through things. One of those things was in August, I was diagnosed with cervical cancer. That was not public knowledge. I was going through radiation therapy. It took a lot out of me. And I just wasn't able to do all the things that I usually do. And so I just had to put my health and my personal life first in order to make sure I made it through that. And also probably one of the most exciting things that happened during that time is me getting married. Yes, so that is why I am now Tasha Frazier. For a little while, I might say Tasha Haskins, now Frazier, and then eventually you guys just need to know that I'm the same person and I'm a Frazier now, okay? I need you to figure that out. All right. So anyway, I'm super excited to kind of go into that a little bit more. But first, you already know I have to give a shout out to all of my sponsors. First things first, my amazing makeup artist, Queen's Allure, Vanessa. She's dope, as you can see. Yes, the eyeshadows matching the outfit and everything. She is on point. She drives a long way to come to me and make sure that I look amazing. And of course, Paparazzi Jewelry, which I am now a distributor, provided my jewelry and my earrings. And then, of course, my diehard, I don't know why they still give me clothes, but they do. And that will be Fashion Nova Curve. The dress, you guys can look on my page to see that whole outfit later. But I love this whole gray kind of slate outfit look that I have going on. So thank you guys so much for that. All right. So now, you guys, I know that everybody has been just, and especially in the recent weeks, I just innocently posted that I got married. I mean, that's not abnormal, right? Like, people get married every single day. People get married all the time. My marriage just so happened to be virtual to my high school crush, who unfortunately is incarcerated, and we are fighting for that freedom every single day. And I believe that God is going to vindicate him and justice is going to be served. But apparently the social media waves of TikTok felt like that was worthy of pushing. And then it went like viral, which was like super weird for me. I didn't understand it. My kids had to be like, Mom, you're viral. I don't even know what that meant. I didn't understand what was happening. So anyway, that just put me in front of a lot of amazing people, a lot of opportunities, but mostly it allowed me to connect with the couple that we're going to be talking about tonight. Now, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, I'm going to take a pause here and show you this video that, for whatever reason, again, went viral. There was a lot of positive, a lot of negative, but you guys already know how I feel about that, right? If people do not know you, they don't love you, they don't want the best for you, then your opinion literally does not matter. So the good people, I was like, woo, thank you. The bad people, I just let them talk to each other, and that's how that worked out. But let's go ahead and show you guys really quickly that clip so you can see what I'm talking about. And we're going to lead into introducing our amazing guests that are going to be on the show tonight.
Here and now, this is the day that I prayed for. And you are the girl of my dreams. And my place in life is right here by your side on this day. This very
That was so cute. And no, I'm not wearing the same wig. This is a different color. Okay. I'm just kidding. All right. So, but yes, that was the video that I woke up the next morning. I had 53 TikTok followers. Okay. When I uploaded this, who cares? I'm 40. Who cares? I'm just trying to figure out TikTok. And I wake up to 35,000 views. And then next thing I know, I mean, it's just crazy. Now it's still over. It's almost at 1.1 million views. I still don't understand why people care. But what it did do, though, is it connected me to a very, very beautiful woman who is like my twin, but like across the country. Not only did we have the same color scheme and favorite colors, but this woman, okay, she put my entire wedding thing to shame. When I say to shame, I mean to shame, okay? There were like the roses, the little petals from like Coming to America. She had bridesmaids walking in the street doing photo shoots. Like she had a live musician. And all I did was get like a waterfront hotel spot. My son was there. I was like, I feel as if I should have done more, and I never feel that way. I'm always over the top, and she is like over the top. But I'm going to show you guys this really cute little clip I put together before I bring on Mr. and Mrs. Barzz, as I like to call them. And you guys, excuse me, sorry, you guys can kind of get to know them just a little bit before I introduce them and bring them on the show and have this amazing conversation.
A prison marriage gone right.
You want my life, one thing just you. I'll do anything for you.
Yo, what's up, y'all? Barzz of Love here, husband Barzz with the wifey Barzz. So I just spent my first night at home out of prison after more than 20 years, and it was nothing short of amazing.
That's why you do it like that.
Better work.
Oh, so y'all thought this shit was over? I'm on the side of your town.
Lit.
I'm on the side of your town.
Damn.
I'm on the side of your town.
Lit.
I love her. She's such a better TikToker than me. All I do is look plain and look pretty at the end. That's all I know how to do. She knows how to do all the dances. But anyway, without any further ado, I am going to bring on they're called Barzz of Love. I'm going to let them kind of share a little bit about themselves. Why? Because I haven't done my show in 4 months, and I totally forgot to write out my introductions, and I'm not going to even pretend to remember what they told me. Okay. So, but the beautiful thing is this is my show. I produce it. So I get to make mistakes. Are we cool with that? Okay, great. All right. So now, without any further ado, I'm going to bring on Mr. and Mrs. Barzz, Barzz of Love. You guys are in Philly?
Yes.
All the way out in Philly. All right. How are you guys doing tonight?
We're good.
Doing great.
I saw you laughing at me in the virtual green room. She's like, oh my word, this girl. So I'm 100% crazy all the time. So just so you know, I want you to know I'm seeing all kinds of messages here. People saying hi. Oh, heart faces. I forgot I'm supposed to be showing people's comments. See, listen, when you are the producer, the person, and everything else, you forget all the things you're supposed to do. But you are getting love from all over, from people. Yay. Can you guys see that?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right. So make sure I haven't lost how to do it. But anyways, please, if you guys could both kind of introduce yourselves and like what you do, as far as like your, like your little titles. And then I'm going to get into like my questions, and hopefully we're able to have a great, enriching, and educating conversation.
All right, cool. So I am Beauty Barzz. I am a gospel rapper. I am a mother of 5. I'm a motivational speaker. I am a new author. And I am his wife.
You should have said that first. My husband would have heard, like, you're my wife first. That's what he probably would have said. So.
And I'm UptownSerg, and I'm an author, I'm an activist, motivational speaker, and her husband.
You guys are so cute. I love it. Okay, so that smile on your face, like seriously, her face is just so cute, like her smiles and everything. And I'm just going to say that they have gotten larger since you have been home. I'm not really sure that she can show more teeth than she already has at this point. So I am very happy. And I also think it's amazing that you're willing to go on all these TikTok videos with her, because I almost am positive my husband is not going to be letting me record him like that. Like, he's going to be like, listen, that's what you do. I don't know about all that. So I think that is hilarious. But let's go ahead. Okay, we got a lot of you guys have a lot of fans on here. You know,
Yes.
I love it.
Hey, y'all.
Yes, I love it. All right, so let's just like start digging in, right? Because here's the thing, like, you know, we obviously with this, a lot of comments, like, you know, and I'm glad you were one of the positive comments, and I just so happened to like go to your page and see how awesome you are. But there were a lot of things that were said, right? Because people just don't understand. They have their stereotypes. We have shows like Love After Lockup, right? That just make everything look all bad. Me coming from the pageant industry and having being a beauty queen, then they made, you know, Toddlers and Tiaras that made pageants look bad. So of course, there's always going to be those people and those industries and those things that make people look bad. And then all of a sudden they want to like take a big broad brush and be like, oh, you know, and I've had people tell me like, oh, you're just desperate. I'm like, have you looked at me? I mean,
Right. Period.
like, I'm sorry. Like, do I look like I'm desperate? No, I'm actually in love with my high school sweetheart. So stop. Okay.
Right.
You know, but anyway, so there's all these different things. But what I would like to do is first just talk to you, Mrs. Barzz. And you just showed so much strength and just fortitude throughout the process. So you can share a little bit, actually, both you guys, about kind of your story, how you guys first connected. We do have like a good like 45 minutes, so don't worry. We got a little time. This is about you guys. But I want you guys to share a little bit about your story. I think it's good for people to hear that because it's somewhat similar to ours. I mean, I don't know. Because it's about me. No, I'm just kidding. It's not about me. It's about you, Mrs. Barzz. Go for it.
So basically, we were best friends in elementary school, 5th grade, boyfriend and girlfriend, whatever that is, when you're in 5th grade. He used to walk me home from school every day. And we just connected. Like, we were just really tight as friends. And as time went on, he got sent to a juvenile detention center, and we still stay connected. Like, I've been doing this. I've been writing letters and sending pictures since I was a young buck. So, you know, this
Did
is
your
kind of
mom
like,
know about that?
she does. He used to send my mom letters.
Since you were a minor, like listen, we had to do everything in the school confines. My dad was not having that. Okay.
Yeah, my mom knew. My mom knew he walked me home. She knew that I was sending him letters. He would send my mom letters too, when he was in the juvenile center. And then, you know, we just had this connection. I had boyfriends and he knew about them, and he would always say, you know, you're going to be my wife. You're going to be my wife. And I'm like, okay, you know, but as time went on, I went to college and he went to prison, and we just fell off. And then in 2019, we reconnected, and yeah, here we are now, 2022, married together.
So I kind of low key want to hear Mr. Barzz's version of the story.
Pretty much the same. You know, we was in school together, boyfriend, girlfriend, and then she dumped me, of course. But listen, dumped me on Valentine's Day, bought her a gift and everything.
That's so rude.
I was like in the
dump him
7th
for
grade,
somebody else?
like in the 7th, yeah, for some basketball playing ball. Listen, basketball boy on the basketball team, bumps on his face and all that. You know how that is, right?
You didn't need to be with nobody in the 7th grade anyway. Stop. You didn't even know what love was.
I was hurt. Listen, I'm gonna tell this a true story. I cried when she broke up with me. It's the last female I ever cried over. You know, seriously, because it hurt. And,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh.
And then also, it's funny now, you know, because I got it now, so it don't matter. And so yeah, I used to walk her home every day, and we were tight. We were really good friends, and we stayed cool throughout our teen years. And I will always be with her. She moved out into the suburbs, but I would have her in the city with me, and I would show her off, even though she wasn't my girlfriend. And I would always like.
So I'm sorry, you guys were doing this in the 7th grade? Is that what I understand you're saying?
No, we were tight. We were tight all the way through teen years and everything up until I went to prison. We were cool. you know, I never pushed up on in a romantic way because I didn't want to ruin our friendship. And so,
Sound like my
but then
husband.
while I was in prison, you know, I did my time. I went through the things I went through. I would check up on her, but me knowing the type of woman she was, I figured, you know, marriage. I figured she's married, taken. Somebody has to have her. I know it. So I left it alone. And then one day I just was like, man, look, all right, that's my friend. Even if she is in a relationship, I at least got to say hi. Reached out to her, and she sent me a phone number, and we spoke. And
So that meant she wasn't married, because you know.
I slid the question in. Look. I
She
slid.
sent you her phone number, brother.
Yeah, listen. I slid the question, and I said, so you with somebody? You seeing somebody? And she told me no, and I didn't say it, but in my heart and in my mind, I said, oh yeah, it's over with. It's over. I got that. I ain't letting that go. I knew it.
I don't know why you people be thinking you're so for sure. No, I'm just kidding. No, she's amazing, and I'm glad that you saw that in her. That's so cool. You know what I'm saying? I see a lot of, like, that's why when she was talking and we were talking, I'm like, that's creepy. You're creepy. Oh my God. Like, there were so many similarities. And even my husband said the same thing. He's like, I'm so grateful I never tried to get at you like that. Like, he was, we were actually like friends, you know, like actual legit friends. I was so green and so square. It was ridiculous. Like, and the only reason we met is because I was like, class vice president, and I was put in charge to show him to his classes when he transferred in. So I'm like the nerd that's like, here's your math class, you know, all the classes he wasn't going to go to, clearly. And so, you know, and then he actually saved me from some girls that were trying to bully me, like literally, like said some words, and he said the same thing to me. He said, babe, I don't think we could be where we're at right now 25 years later had I actually tried to come at you like that. Had I been disrespectful and tried to touch on you and do all the things that the other boys in school were trying to do because you were built like a whole grown woman as like a 15-year-old, you know? And so it's kind of eerie hearing the things I was telling her. I'm like, this is like creepy. And who are you? You know, like, I don't know if I like it. I'm trying to decide if I should embrace it or be freaked out. No, but I mean, I think that it's a beautiful thing. You know what I'm saying? So, my next question to you, Mr. Barzz, is this, that, you know, a big question that's asked, I'm going to play devil's advocate a little bit, right? We get told, oh, girl, your dude was in there for 2 decades. You already know, like, you got married to him and he consummated with somebody else, you know, and I'm going to keep it real. Like, I'm just going to say it out there. So if you could talk to a little bit about how a man that's been in prison for so long can say, like, I'm not that again, for any one of my friends or any people I know that are in the LGBTQ community, this is not saying anything towards you. I'm talking about people that are, you know, heterosexual and maybe are put into the prison system for an extended period of time. And then there's an assumption that they're choosing that lifestyle as a result. So just to be very clear, because I have friends in all different types of communities and that identify as different things. And I'm not here to insult that at all. But there is a stereotype and an assumption that comes. So how did you, you know, as a heterosexual male, ultimately like maintain that, right? You know, so that your wife can confidently say, yeah, okay, you know what I'm saying? Because the girl was batting away the haters real easy, like real easy. Like, she's dope. Like, I'm about to copy her videos. You know what I'm saying? You know, so can you speak to that, sir?
Yeah, first and foremost, I'm a man 100%. That's the simplest way to put it right there. But there are still those who won't understand that. So I say, if it's in you, it's in you, and if it's not, it's not. You know, it's not in me. And like you said, no, I have friends in the LGBTQ community who I love and support, right? And I'm not a person that's ashamed of anything I've been through. And if that was something that I experienced, then I would say it. But that's a big myth right there. Does those things happen? Do those things happen in prison? Of course, but they happen on a far smaller scale than what is portrayed in society through the entertainment industry, like the movies and TV shows. And this is just another another like slander type of myth on people in prison to try to alienate us further and further than we more than we already are from society. You know, it was difficult. But and another thing is this, right? For all the haters who may try to imply that or insinuate that somebody like myself would be engaging in those type of activities in prison, I would ask them this: what makes them think that I wasn't engaged in a heterosexual relationship in prison? You know, prisoners have sex with female guards all the time. You know, that stuff is like far more.
You better preach, right?
That stuff is occurring far more frequently than the homosexual relationships in there. You see what I'm saying? And so, who's to say that I wasn't doing those things? So why assume one and not assume the other? That just goes to show you that people are more prone to the negative slander than they are to some sort of like attributing something positive to somebody. And there are things to do inside of prison. I focused on my growth. Like the second half, I did over 20 years, and the first half of those 20 years was spent still being the old me, the tough guy, the violent guy, the reputation seeker, things like that, right? But I also did 5 straight years in solitary confinement, locked down 23 hours a day. But the second half, the next 10 or 11 years was spent growing myself intellectually, spiritually, mentally, and things like that. So I was under the guidance and tutelage of some very important and influential men, not just in prison, but around the world, former Black Panthers and things like that.
My husband's a Black Panther. And his parents were actually literally, his mother is a legendary Black Panther in Seattle. So that's awesome.
Yeah, that's why I was schooled under 𝑚𝒂𝒔𝒉𝒂 and
awesome.
Russell Maroon Schultz and people like that.
Okay.
So,
okay.
So yeah, we crushed that myth right there. That's something people are always going to talk about, and they can continue to talk about it. That's fine with me. It doesn't bother me one bit. I'm like I said when I started this answer, I'll say it again. I'm 100% man. Nobody ever going to challenge that or doubt it.
Period.
Okay. And I thank you so much for being so candid about that. I think that that's something that people don't consider. They have all these, and about anything that they don't know, right? Ignorance is a very big, there's a pandemic, it's not COVID, it's ignorance, which is a lack of knowledge. And then there's an assumption tied to stereotypes or tied to the media or tied to whatever little things they want to hear. I love when people are like, oh, I bet, he's got money on his books, a place to go. I'm like, I'm sorry, he be sending me money, so I don't even know what you're talking about. Like, it's so, like, I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what do you even mean? Like, what is that? What do you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I bet this and that. Or, oh, how come he wasn't with you in high school? I was 15. That's why.
Right.
My dad's 6'9" and a pastor. Like, it wasn't happening. So that's why, oh, now he wants to be with you. Like, first of all, like, you know what I'm saying? So, like, it's just the common sense things about the whole situation that people, go ahead, Mr. Barzz. I know you had something you want to say.
No, I just want to also say real quick, it's also a lot of people projecting onto others. So, for example, a person would look at themselves and they would know that they wouldn't be able to be strong enough to maintain in a situation like that. And they think that just because they're not strong enough to do it, they don't think I should be strong enough to do it. You see what I'm saying? And that's why they get on women who marry men in prison, because they wouldn't be able to do that. They are not strong enough to maintain their chastity. They're not strong enough to be loyal. They're not strong enough to uphold integrity and things like that. And so because they can't do that, they think you shouldn't be able to do it. They think my wife shouldn't be able to do it. But that's how small minds think, and I'm fine with that. That's why we need more McDonald's workers.
So he just said, if you guys are small-minded, you are going to work for McDonald's. I love
Nothing wrong with working at McDonald's.
Mr. Barzz.
Nothing wrong with working at McDonald's, though, if that's just you trying to step up.
No, but it's a metaphor. I totally understand. And I love with the people, like there was literally hundreds of thousands, because I couldn't even respond. Like, how do you respond to hundreds? But people that were like, it's a no for me. He didn't propose to you.
Right.
He didn't ask you to marry him. So, I'm not understanding what question you're answering because it wasn't to you.
Right.
Like, I love that. Like, oh, I could never do that. But you're not being asked to.
Yeah, right.
Like, what are you even talking about? Right. You know, and so that part to me is just kind of funny. When people are like, it's a no for me. I would never. And he's just looking for he's just looking for an address. And I'm like, okay. Like, you don't even you know, and it's a very interesting conundrum there. So thank you, Mr. Barzz, just for being so candid about that and for just being direct on that question. All right. So now, Mrs. Barzz, I know that, I mean, you've obviously been through some things. You already have kids and things like that. But reconnecting with him under these circumstances, how did that impact you? And how did that also affect your relationships with people that claimed they cared about you? Because I was cool with a lot of people. And then when I said, hey, and it was like, wait, what? Where is he? And why should that matter? I mean, I've been in relationships with Microsoft engineers and professional athletes, and all the things you think only a prisoner would do, they did. But in person, live and in color. Woo! So I get the 3D view versus the prison view. Like, really? So can you share with me just kind of like, when that reconnection happened and finding out that this guy that you guys had whatever juvenile relationship you had, which you shouldn't have had. I'm going to tell your mom, I'm just kidding. But, at least he respected you, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And just how that was when you decided to say, you know what, like, I'm going to move forward with this.
Yeah. So for me, I was in a good place in my life where I was very confident in who I was. I did a lot before we reconnected. Let me just share this. I was in a lot of terrible situations in my life, but I took about two years to like find myself and figure out who I was and the things that God wanted me to do. And, I said a lot of stuff to God that I wouldn't do. And I did all of those things just to figure out who I was. That self-love was very important to me. That journey was very powerful for me. So when we did reconnect in the beginning, it was like, okay, what is this? I don't know. But I told my friends, like I told my mom probably the third day that we were talking. And I'm like, Mom, guess who I talked to? And she's like, who? So she's naming like all the ex-boyfriends. And I'm like, no. And she's like, Sergio? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, oh, so I'm going to have a real son-in-law? And like, that took me out because we were just talking as friends. Like I was just excited that we reconnected. And anybody who knows my mom, and Mom, if you're watching, we all know it's not a yes for anybody. It's a no. Like she don't play no games. And even when I told her where she was, it wasn't even an issue. It wasn't a nothing. And then I told my sister, she's like, oh, so how long we gotta wait? Like everybody was team this before we were even a team. Like we were a thing.
I love it.
And so it gave me the freedom to be like, listen. And even when I spoke to like my pastors and my deacons, my approach to it was, hey, I'm dating somebody who's in prison. He's going to be my husband, because I called him my husband before I called him anything else, because I knew we did a lot of soul searching and talking and fasting with each other. And we knew that this was what God had called us to do. And I'm like, but here's the thing. I know you're concerned about me. So anything that you have to say or ask me, please ask me so that I can answer you. Right. And I feel like that approach is what gave people the freedom to say, I'm with it or I'm not. And if you're not with it, it's okay. It's not going to change how I feel about him. It's not going to change what we're going to do in life. And I'm okay with that, because my thing is the people who love me genuinely care about me. And I know this. So it was like, hey, and I said everything with a smile because I meant it. And it was okay, because I don't expect everyone to understand fully. Just like if I was in a relationship with someone who was a loser, I don't expect them to understand what I actually felt with this person when it was just he and I. So I was okay with it. And God surrounded me with people who supported me just from the beginning. There was no question about anything. And I feel like I was blessed in that sense. So
That's all good. I mean, I think it's important, whatever decision that you make, and this is why, not to do a plug, but my quote, my personal quote, trademark quote is, it's never too late to choose you, change your path, and walk in your purpose. Because, right, everyone that's with you isn't always for you. Right. And I even you saw my TikTok where I was like, I could have said I was married to an NBA player. You guys would have been like, oh, he's about to hump every girl in every city he plays in. I could have said I'm marrying a guy from the military. Oh, he's about to have babies in Germany or Afghanistan. Like, people are always going to have something to say, right?
Yep.
But if you have to understand what you say and what the God you serve has to say. And I think that is what has made such a big difference. And I love that you were so candid. And I've been very similar. Like, hey, I don't give people, I told my husband, I said, I give people two choices, and they start with the letter S. You either get to support me or shut up.
Right.
There's no in between. So those are your choices, right? And I'm praying for you. Okay. You realize Jesus's right-hand guys was Paul, who used to be Saul, who was an actual known Christian murderer. He used to murder Christians for a living. But you're quick to be like, and the Apostle Paul said in your sermons. I'm confused. I'm just saying, right? Like, the people he was like, yo, you get to come with me in paradise, were criminals, or people that chose, or made decisions like your husband said so eloquently, based on what they thought they had to do. So my thing is, the irony is, like, Jesus's 12 disciples were all kinds of messed up. He left other people like, hey, let me go to the hustler over here. Let me go talk to the hoe at the well, the chick that got the side dude, this dude humping this guy. Let me go kick it with them. While you're over here trying to be extra judgmental, please don't quote the Apostle Paul ever again in any sermon whatsoever, because he was a chronic. He was like Gary Ridgway. He was like the Green River Killer, okay, like, of Christians. You feel me? You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So for me, I just don't. I love your mindset, and it's good to educate people. You've just kind of like embraced everything with love, and I love that, right? So my next question for you guys now is, I know it was super exciting to have him home, but the world has changed a lot in 2 decades.
Yes.
Okay. And I'm sure. And so I bet you if, like, there was phones and cameras, and both of our husbands probably would have been in a different situation. If someone could have recorded something, they probably wouldn't even be in prison right now. I'll just keep it real. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, Mr. Barzz and Mrs. Barzz, like, how has just the world being different, how has that impacted your guys's, marriage now that he's home?
I mean, I think it's just, we talked about a lot of things before he came home. And I feel like the patience, God gave me the heart to love him. And that's as simple as I can put it. God gave me the heart to love him, to have the patience with him, to have the understanding with him, and to know that, like, nothing about this transition is going to be easy. So it's simple things as, like, when he first got the phone, just trying to turn it on, just trying to, dial a number, and there were times when he was like, I don't want to keep asking. I'm like, why? Like, that's what I'm here for. Like, I'm going to hold your hand the whole entire way until you don't need me to hold your hand. And I feel like that is one of the things where it's not something that people are really prepared for. Like, he's going to come home. Oh, it's going to be like, no, it's not that. You really have to have patience and understanding. And it's also my approach to him. Like, there's certain things that he would do, and I'm like, I can't just be like, why are you doing it? That's a trigger. That's an instant trigger, but it's also unnecessary, because why is he doing that? That's what he's been doing for 20 years. And the same with me. Like, we had this conversation.
Girl, you're preaching to me. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
We had
I don't like this message.
before he came home, we had the conversation, and I'm like, the same things that I have to do for you, you have to do for me also, because I've been living this life by myself with me and my kids. So if it's something as simple as you don't want to wash the dishes with a sponge because you feel like you need to use a rag, like, I need you to come at me the right way, because we've been using the sponge for 20 years, 10 years, 15 years. Like, you know what I mean? Simple things like that. We have to have communication. And I think that that's where a lot of people lack, because it has to be that deep. And it can go one way or another if we don't actually understand each other.
That's good. So, Mr. Barzz,
Yes.
you know, you having been in what I call the legal plantation, because that's how I see prison. It's like it's like a legal plantation, you know. After being in that, like what was like probably the most, I guess, shocking or whatever you call it, after coming home? Because again, I was super shocked she was able to get you on a video just getting out of prison. Like, I was like, I would feel so like, woo, you know, especially if, you know, the world has changed so much in 2 decades. You know what I'm saying? I don't even think MySpace was in when you were in there. So if
Nothing
you
was on.
kind of share about that, how that impacted you, just the changes.
So as far as like the videos and the social media and stuff like that, toward, I don't know, the last 5 or 6 years of my time in there, I started to become more vocal and more visible in the prison. Legislators and politicians, educators, they would come into the prison, and more and more I would be one of the main guys that were called on to address these crowds. When the younger guys in there were sort of getting out of control, I would be the one to talk to them. And when I say out of control, I don't mean in a way that's harming with the harming the prison. I mean in a way that they're going to end up harming themselves, right? I would become more active in their development. And so that's TikTok and Instagram and all that. Plus, I had an illegal cell phone toward the end of my bed. So I mean,
I'm free now. I'm just gonna put it out.
I can admit that now, you know. So you know, I started my social media.
I had a burner, you guys, just so you know.
And so I was already familiar with that type of stuff. I still didn't plan on being in as many of these videos as I'm in now, but it's just, you know, I see her doing her thing, right? And she give me the look, and I can't tell her no sometimes. Sometimes I can tell her no. Or sometimes I'll pop my way out of it, and she'll say, all right, well, I don't want to do it anyway. So, you know, I'll do that. But I think that one of the toughest things as far as adjusting has been, there's so many options out here, so many decisions to make. Whereas though in prison it's more regimented, it's more organized, it's structured. When we went shopping, I tell everybody this story. We went shopping, and she wanted me to try some clothes on. And I went into the fitting room and she left me in the fitting room to go stand out on the outside. And I panicked. I had a whole nervous breakdown, start crying and everything, because I couldn't make the decision. It was too many. It was too many options. Like in prison, you got the same uniform you wear every day. It's this shirt and that pants and this shirt, same color every day, all the time. Out here, I look in my closet and I'm excited about putting something on, and I look in my closet and I get anxious, and I tell her, babes, can you pick my clothes out? Because I would never be able to do it. I would have to get used to that. And so, you know, you have to get used to the options that and just so many different decisions to make out here. And that's one of the sad things about prison. They take that from you. They take away your ability to decide. They take away your ability to self-determine. And if you can't determine for yourself, then naturally you can't grow. And they do it in the relationship world as well. You know, they take away the ability for you to have a relationship with a significant other or your family. And so this is why our communities are still in inferior positions in relation to other communities, because we're not allowed to grow that bond and and by extension, grow our communities.
Ooh, okay, so that kind of has me a little emotional. I really appreciate you being honest. You know, it's you know, prison talks about how they are about rehabilitation, and they're not.
Right.
You know, they're not preparing you. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. That's
They're not preparing you for because, and especially our black and brown brothers, right? Our black indigenous people of color. Um, yeah, they don't have any desire to see you eventually out.
right.
You know, and so they're not even equipping you or trying to
Right.
give you exposure. And I'm so grateful for Mrs. Barzz and women like me and others that have
Absolutely. I
been
am
able
too.
to assist in making that a little less traumatizing. You know, I apologize for getting a little emotional because um, it does impact. And the funny part is of course, and you know, in prison, like they don't even care about your mental health.
Right.
There's no, and if you could maybe speak to that, Mr. Barzz, I think, you know, as much as they want to say that they're all about, you know, rehabilitation, well, to rehabilitate a person, you must be dealing with, you don't get to just put a band-aid, you actually have to pull the splinter out.
Right.
And those aren't the types of systems that are put in place. So can you maybe talk about just maybe whether it's the lack thereof or what type of even mental health support outside of your wife, because I know that she was a anchor for you, that was even provided or not provided in the prison system?
Right. All right. So a couple things there. I'm a certified peer support specialist. I have a board certification by the Pennsylvania Certification Board, and we are mental health professionals, and we are a select group of people trained to be like the first responders during mental health crises in prison, because a lot of prisoners who are experiencing mental health crises, they don't trust staff enough to share what they're going through, because everybody understands staff is here for a paycheck. They are not invested in my growth and my mental health. They don't care about me. And so, and not all staff, because some staff do, right? But they get consumed by the system. And so we as certified peer support specialists, right, we take it upon ourselves to put our needs second or third or fourth. Sometimes we get out the bed 3 o'clock in the morning to to talk to a guy who was experiencing such a crisis that he wiped feces all over his window or something like that, right? Just for some attention. That's all they wanted, some attention. And so the mental health crisis in the prison system is is so significant that if we got to explore it, people wouldn't even believe it, even if you presented the numbers um, that of people who have mental health issues in prison. Secondly, as far as the rehabilitation thing, um, you can't rehabilitate a human being, right? A human being is not a house. You know what I mean? A human being is born as a full person, and they make decisions because they end up in situations that direct them. It's not force them, but they nudge them in certain directions, right? And if you want to eliminate crime and criminal behavior, then you have to eliminate the causes for crime and criminal behavior, right? And like you said when you started this segment, you call prisons the new plantation. Plantations are capitalist. They are exploitative. They are profit driven. And so the prison system has no incentive to decrease incarceration levels because they profit off of people being incarcerated. So there's no incentive for them. It would be counterproductive for them to give prisoners the tools to not come back to prison. And this is why the cycle is perpetuated in the way that it is. And in order to stop it, you have to smash it. And we're not going to get help from the prison. And just like you said, Tasha, is women like you and my wife and others who have the courage and the willpower, right, to do something that's outside of the norm and invest in a human being. When you invest in a human being, like you said earlier, like people think that we're in there plotting and scamming on how to get women to do things for us. And that couldn't be further from the truth. I took care of my wife as much as I could while I was in there, right? As much as I could. And I'm talking about, I'm not talking about just teddy bears. I'm not talking about teddy bears and flowers. I'm talking about cutting checks. You see what I'm saying? And it wasn't any problem. I told her she could have got every dollar from me if she would have asked for it. It wouldn't have been any hesitation because it's only money, right? That's not what it's about. And people just have to be more, they have to be around people like you and my wife. They have to understand that this is a reality. This is not what TV says it is. And then maybe things will start to change.
So good. And I, again, apologize for getting emotional only because I know why police were created historically, which is not to serve and protect. It was to be slave catchers.
Right. Catch slaves.
Catch black, either emancipated or runaway slaves. Right. And that was what the point was, right?
Right.
Penitentiaries and prisons were created basically there. That's why you're able to make 30 cents a day.
All right. If that,
if that, right? Making, plates and furniture and Michael Jordan. I'm going to go there, Michael Jordan shoes and everything else because of, it's a slave wage. And, and so I thank you for being so candid. I'm going to switch over to Mrs. Barzz real quick. Mm-hmm. And what I would like to know is, and I'm sure a lot of ladies who are watching, maybe they have a loved one that's incarcerated or they don't or whatever. And really quickly, ladies, I want to say this. What I like about her and why I brought her on the show is because we're not like, oh, I just want a buff black prisoner in prison. No, like that. We're not on some weird fetish like type stuff because we can't pull a man on the outside. That is not it. At the same time, we've been through things. We've had children or whatever the case may be, serious relationships. And we understood that, I want my heart to be loved. I want who I am. And so we were able to reconnect with people who saw that in us prior to incarceration. And their address just so happens to be prison.
Right.
It's different than I want a prisoner. Oh my God, I'm built like SpongeBob and I'm ugly, but I want a man in prison. No, we aren't those people. We are like, hey, the person that we love, that believe in this, that we had a vibe with, happens to have the geographical address of prison, right? And that there's a difference. I'm not knocking whoever, whatever, but I'm trying to say to you that there are people, right, that had an existence and had a character before prison. So with that being said to you, beautiful, lovely lady, I just want to, ask you, like, when people are like, why would you even do that? Where is your headspace at? What do you share with them? And where are you at now? I mean, I can see the love, obviously, in the video, and your husband's whole face is on your shoulder. I'm 100% jealous, but it's fine. But still,
it's coming.
Still talk about that, please, sweetheart. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, I mean, for me, it's just always, I love people. And at the end of the day, what I say to people all the time is my husband is a human being who deserves to be loved. Where he is doesn't change who he is. Where he is doesn't determine what he can and can't do. This man has showed me more of who I am. Like, he's helped me grow being incarcerated. Like,
I'm sorry.
him, what?
I'm
Oh,
just laughing at the comment. I apologize. Be
hey,
deep.
Brit.
We can go back to be deep. I'm sorry. Okay.
No, it's okay. It's like he touched my soul before he touched anything else. And
Mm.
I think people take the idea of, oh, he's in prison and all he wants to do is use you and all, like, I mean, use me for what? Because that's what I try to tell people all the time. Use me for what? Because Shorty don't even got money. Like, Shorty got 5 kids. I was a single mom with 5 kids. And my kids come first, and he knows that. And I tell people the story all the time. When I had a little bit of money and I wanted to give him some money because he was telling me all the things that was happening, I had to find out how to put money on the books because he wouldn't tell me. And when I did, we was beefing for like 2 or 3 days when he found out that I gave him money because he like, no, I'm about to send it back to you. Da, 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 da. It's not about that. But what it comes down to is like our connection is so much deeper than what anybody else can understand. We've had to put in the work. This is not I'm gonna see you later. Oh, you mad at me? I'm gonna hang up on you. I'm gonna come back over. I'm gonna call. Like, it's not that. We put God first, number one, and number two, we had to learn how to learn each other. We had to learn how to take those 15-minute conversations and make them work everything that they were. We had to think outside of the box when it came to birthdays and holidays. Those visits, like, I was faithful going up there every week to see this man, and he needed that. And then later on, he shared with me all the things that they have to go through before they even get to the visit, the
Oh
shelter
my God, the
and all of that. That,
dehumanizations.
that is
Yeah.
so heartbreaking because they just want
It
to see
is.
somebody. They just want to see somebody, and they got to go through all of that just to see somebody, and you not even
Please
letting them,
don't. Oh my God.
not
Like
even
that
letting
is.
them anything, and people don't understand this,
I
and
have
they
no
take
idea.
it as it's just, oh, no, this is real life. And as much as I wanted to be loved, he wanted to love somebody as well, and people just think that it's just, it's not what you think, period. And how I approach people is, listen, I love this man. He loves me. We did this. You know what I mean? God put us together and we follow through with it. And at the end of the day, he's a human and so am I. And we both deserve this. So if you have
I,
something to
I
say, like,
I really love that, that you was talking about deserving, because you do.
mm-hmm,
And I think that's something that, although we haven't talked about based on our life experiences, everything else, like, we do deserve that
mm-hmm,
pure, unadulterated love.
yep,
And so does he.
mm-hmm,
And so does my husband,
yeah,
right? And what I don't like about the evolution of technology and society are these different shows and things like that show all the drama. What's so funny? Like, people were like, "Why are you on Love After Love?" They hit me up, but I wasn't willing to sacrifice my character or do all these different things. I'm not doing that.
right,
For $10,000, I'm not going to destroy who I am
right.
for a measly $5,000. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. And so I'm so grateful that there are other women across the country, apparently,
Hey, girl.
that I wouldn't. Well, I was gonna wear something blue, but I realized what I had. I was like, I've already won another show. I can't do it. So, but like, I think that's amazing, and I love your love. Like, I'm not a hater at all. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure, I don't know what happened and why he hasn't called back. I hope he's okay. But I know that you understand what that is. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Um, but it it inspires, and the things that you guys have regular outside marriages don't have. You know what I'm saying? I've had married, oh, you can give us something that's free, da da da. I've been with professional athletes the majority of my life.
Right.
Just gonna be real. They've cheated. They've physically, mentally, psychologically abused me. Okay, fine. They had money. They were tall, dark, and handsome. But I was destroyed. I'm sorry. What?
Exactly.
I'm like, and then what I've said is that a man's character, or a woman, I'm not a lesbian, so I speak on men. So man's character is his character. Whether he's in prison,
right,
he's on the field in the NFL, he's in the NBA, it doesn't matter. His character is his character.
Mm-hmm.
If he wants a dick in his booty, I said it, people know, then he wants it in his booty regardless of where he's at.
Right.
He's laughing because he knows it's real. If you suspect, brother, you suspect
You've been that.
regardless of whether you're in prison or not.
Right. Right.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Stop. Like, just stop. So for me, it's like, it doesn't take a man to be in prison to have a bad character.
Right.
And again, I speak on men only because I'm heterosexual, so I choose men. Not saying that women, so people that are like, oh, women do it too. I don't care about that. I'm talking about men.
Right.
So it doesn't, like, if a man has a bad character, it doesn't require prison for him to show that.
Right.
You know, Mr. Barzz, I know you already know. There are women being cheated on, abused, beaten, used. And those men are free.
Right.
They are free. So I'm dying. I am dying. I'm dying at the fact that people are like, oh, he's in prison, he's using you. So you have a whole free dude and he's using you.
Right.
Right.
It's different because he hasn't been caught.
Right.
Like, you're just as lonely as I am. You have to use your lover's package rose just like I do.
Right.
But your husband is not behind bars. No pun intended. I love your guys.
One thing too, I just wanted to add to that is, like, you know, people don't realize too, like, being in there, there's so many things that out here men take for granted. And, you know, I know my husband, like, it's certain things that
Wow.
he's staring at me like that. It's certain things that, like, he just won't take for granted. And I have complete faith and complete trust in that. And I think that's the other part that people miss. Like, they always say, oh, well, he's got time to write you, but he don't actually have to. That's the biggest thing that grinds my gears. When they like, oh, they don't got nothing but time. That's not it. That's not it. You know what I mean? They have to want that. They have to want to be able to do that. They have to want to put this passion into these letters. They have to want to tell you, like, not sell you a story. Like, my husband never sold me any story. You know, we made plans. We started at the end of our conversations, like, probably when we were like half the year before we knew it was almost going to be time. It was business conversations. It wasn't, hey, boo, that, like, it was like every conversation with the website, the podcast, the this, the that.
Like my husband and I, like, we don't even be like, oh, I love you, I love you.
Right.
Like, we were not, like, we're so like, oh my God, you're amazing. Oh, you're amazing. Like, we don't even do that. Like, we're like we don't even be doing all that.
So it takes a lot more than what people think.
Indeed.
Like,
so we literally have 1 minute left. Is there any last words you guys want to leave with the people that are watching? I'm so grateful you guys are on the show. Is there anything else you want to say?
Just thank you. And, you know, support people who have people who are in prison. You know, be that support that they need, and don't be judgmental, because you never know what somebody's situation is. And just because they're in there doesn't mean they did whatever you might think that they've done. And just because they're in there, it doesn't mean they deserve to be treated less than a human. So to people who know people who may be that support that they need, because that support is powerful and it's necessary.
And even if they did do what you think they did, doesn't mean that they're bad people. Some people just make poor decisions. But, I just want to say, invest in people. Some of the most brilliant people I've ever known are in prison right now. Believe that.
Good stuff. So, Mr. and Mrs. Barzz, thank you so much for joining the relaunching of the Tasha Frazier show. And I appreciate you guys. I thank you guys all for watching. You guys already know what I'm going to say, that it's never too late to choose you, change your path, walk in your purpose, and be who God, whoever you believe in, whoever knocks on the door, has called you to be. Thank you. Mr. and Mrs. Barzz, don't hang up. Stay in the green room. But everybody else, thank you. Good night, and we'll see you in a couple weeks. All right. I appreciate you guys.
Bye.
Oh, wait. Hold on. Let me tell you guys. Wait. Oh, I was going to do a commercial, but that's too much time. All right. Never mind. Thank you guys for being here. All right.